Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut was everything that he needed it to be. Shedeur Sanders came out and he showed, hey, the NFL is no difference than my experience with Colorado, no difference than my experience with high school football. I, Shedeur Sanders, am the best quarterback in the National Football League. That's what he proved to everybody in his first preseason game. Shedeur Sanders proved every single NFL owner wrong, but he also exposed them. He showed, hey, you didn't draft me and it wasn't because of my talent. You didn't draft me because of politics. So I'm going to show everybody in America that I'm the best quarterback, that I deserve a spot in this league, and I'm going to leave no doubt about the fact that my job needs to be secure going forward and Shedeur Sanders needs to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. The best part about Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut was that he's still doing perfect timing. He's showing everybody, hey, you can stifle me. You can try to stop me from moving forward. You can play the politics game. You can even cut my reps at practice. But when you turn the lights and the camera on and you put cameras, people in the crowd, butts and seats, and you let Shedeur Sanders play football, you have the best football player in the world on your team. Not only that, a confident Shedeur Sanders is unlike any other quarterback that we've ever seen. So the fact that Shedeur Sanders is still doing perfect timing is more than that. That's a symbol of confidence. That's him showing us they can't stop me, they can't silence me, they can only try to deter me. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and he made that clear in his first preseason game after he dominated. Cade Klubnik's entire career at Clemson has been disappointing. Cade Klubnik was one of the most winning quarterbacks of all time in Texas high school football. He commits to Clemson at the peak of their prime. Trevor Lawrence is there, Dabo Swinney's moving, and then he commits. He goes to school there, NIL comes out, Dabo Swinney stops being a good coach, Clemson stops recruiting the best players, and we've seen Cade Klubnik waste 3 years of his football career. In the transfer portal era, there's absolutely no reason to be attending a university that's not capable of sending you to the pros. And even if they do send you to the pros, they're not going to make you any better. Clemson has absolutely zero track record of making quarterbacks better during their time in college football. Trevor Lawrence came to Clemson a 5-star athlete. He was ranked a 100% overall, meaning that he was the greatest high school recruit of all time. After his time with Dabo Swinney, Trevor Lawrence got no better. He goes to the NFL, and Trevor Lawrence's entire NFL career has been a story of mediocrity. He's not better than anybody else. He's barely keeping his job. The Jaguars have been horrible the entire time that he's been a quarterback. And the only person to blame for that is Dabo Swinney. Because Dabo Swinney didn't make Trevor Lawrence any better during his time with him at Clemson. He ran a college system, gave him college schemes, and he didn't teach him the next level of football. He didn't develop that talent. You can look at the next quarterback in Dabo Swinney's quarterback tree. DJ Ugalele was a top 3 quarterback recruit his year in high school. The only quarterbacks that DJ was behind, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Those 2 quarterbacks are NFL quarterbacks, and it only took them 3 years to get there. You look at DJU, he played college football for 5 years, and he never got an opportunity in the NFL. The only person responsible for that, Dabo Swinney, because he didn't make him any better between his time at high school and when he was trying to go to the NFL. Clemson is where quarterbacks go to die. You will not get any better. You won't pick up any skills. You will run college schemes, college sets that will only benefit you in a college system. Trevor Lawrence was a 5-star recruit ranked 100 overall, meaning that he was the highest recruit that ESPN had ever seen. He was a damn near perfect football player. Trevor Lawrence then goes to Clemson. He gets absolutely no better at his time in Clemson. Then tries to go to the NFL, make the leap. He's the number 1 overall draft pick, and his entire career has been underwhelming. You literally don't hear Trevor Lawrence's name unless you're watching a London game at 5 or 6 a.m. The Jaguars have been horrible. Trevor Lawrence has been horrible because he didn't get any better in college. Trevor Lawrence went to the NFL with the exact same skill set, the exact same mindset, and the exact same knowledge of the game that he had in high school. So, how can you expect a high school kid, effectively a high school kid, to then go transfer to the NFL and have actual success? Trevor Lawrence was set up to fail by Dabo Sweeney. Clemson can't recruit, therefore they can't recruit. Clemson can't recruit, therefore they can't compete with the best football programs anymore. And there's three reasons for that. The first one, NIL. Dabo Sweeney was openly against NIL. He came out and he speaks against it. If you're a player trying to get some money, you're not going to go play for Dabo. Second piece of that puzzle, the Clemson Tigers play in the ACC. With that being said, you're not getting exposed to the best competition. You're not getting exposed to the best teammates. You're not getting exposed to the best travel experience. You're not getting exposed to the best experience of college football. Kids want to go play in one of those power conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC. Real athletes don't play football in the ACC, and if Clemson doesn't realign, they're never going to get another real athlete again. The third reason that Clemson is falling off as a program is because they have no track record of developing NFL talent. Trevor Lawrence was Clemson's best player of all time, and he's an absolute bust. Cade Klubnik can't make it to the pros. DJU can't make it to the pros. And then you look at the other positions on the field for Clemson. None of these guys translated. Clemson has 0 stars in the NFL. Nobody calls them wide receiver U, DBU, linebacker U, DNU, tight end U, offensive line U, nothing. Clemson isn't known for anything. They don't develop players. They're just a decent college football program, but as of recently, they're not even competitive. You know, every single year Clemson isn't a competitor when it comes to the national championship. So why show up for practice? Why lace up your cleats? Clemson's program needs a real change. And when I say a real change, they need to get rid of Dabo Sweeney because you have already hit your peak with him. It will never get better than what you have already seen with Dabo. Everything's downhill from here. So what is it that you're waiting for, Clemson? If you want to compete in NIL and you want to compete in college football, get rid of Dabo Sweeney. Dan Lanning is wasting his time at the University of Oregon. He's coaching. Dan Lanning is one of the best coaches in all of college football, but he's wasting his time with a school who already lost all of their aura. The good thing about Oregon and the NIL era was the fact that they were able to give kids boatloads of money under the table. They could give them apparel, they could give them the best gear on the football field. Now it's 2025, it's the NIL era. Every single program has access to those same funds. Regardless of who it comes from, one donor or 1,000 donors, every single school is able to provide the same sweatshirts, the same apparel, the same amount of cash as Oregon is giving to their players. With that being said, Oregon will never, ever, ever be able to recruit the best talent in the world because the best talent in the country does not want to go to Oregon, middle of nowhere Oregon, to play football for a year. Especially when they can get the exact same experience, the exact same money, and the exact same gear somewhere else. Dan Lanning, if you actually want to improve your career, if you actually want an opportunity to win a national championship, and if you actually want an opportunity to recruit and play with the best players in the country, you have to leave Oregon. There are tier 1 college football programs who would love to have Dan Lanning as a head coach, but he's wasting his time at tier 2 Oregon just huddling and playing in the water. I don't care how much they pay you. Coaching college football should be about wins, losses, and national championships. Mentioning Garrett Nussmeier for the Heisman is completely laughable. This was a guy who came out, they played for LSU last year, and they weren't competitive in any sense of the word, but his wide receiver room is absolutely flooded with talent. Just because Garrett Nussmeier is in a prosperous situation doesn't actually make him a favorite for the Heisman. It doesn't actually make him a competitor for the Heisman. All that it means is that he has good wide receivers who are NFL guys and we respect them. This year, LSU has loaded up with a whole new This year, LSU is loaded up with a whole new set of NFL receivers, including Barry Brown from Kentucky and a couple other guys who are equally as fast as him. Garrett Nussmeier will have all of the opportunity in the world to throw for 4,500 yards and 45 touchdowns, making him one of the highest producing quarterbacks in college football. With that being said, if Garrett Nussmeier also turns around and throws another 12 interceptions next year, he's not the Heisman. If you throw 12 interceptions in a college football season, you are clearly not ready to win the Heisman and not ready to be an NFL player. You're a walking duck if the other team can count on a turnover from you every single game. So I don't know if they think that Garrett Nussmeier got lessons over the summer. I don't know if they think that Garrett Nussmeier started taking steroids. I don't know if they think that Garrett Nussmeier has some sort of insight into the other team's game plan. But Garrett Nussmeier is a below average quarterback. 6'1", 210 pounds, 12 interceptions, and he's not fast. He can't run. He doesn't have a strong arm, but somehow he's in the talks for the Heisman. It's not adding up. The only reason that people are talking about him is because his dad was an NFL guy. So why don't we just go back, watch his dad's film, and acknowledge, hey, his dad was pretty good. But this kid, his son, is not an NFL player, and we don't have to talk about him. And he is damn sure not a Heisman. Deion Sanders has more pressure on him this college football season than any other college football coach in America. The reason being is this is the year that we get to find out if Deion Sanders is a real football coach. When he had Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders, he had the two best players in all of college football, so it made it easy for them to win games and to have success. Now that we've seen both of those guys go to the pros, we get to see how good of a recruiter is Coach Prime actually. How good of a developer is Coach Prime actually? How much do the other kids on the team actually love Coach Prime as a head coach? And all of those things will be on display every single week of the season without Travis and Shadur on the field. With that being said, if the Colorado Buffaloes have a great year, Coach Prime has cemented himself as a top two college football coach in all of college football. He has turned around a historically terrible college football program in Colorado, and he has made them not only huge in fanfare, stadium attendance, money, he's made them an actual competitor on the football field. He's made them an actual competitor in the NIL landscape. He's made them an actual competitor when it comes to taking the best recruits in the transfer portal and recruiting the best players out of high school. Deion Sanders has an opportunity this year to prove that he is a top two and maybe even a top one head coach in college football. This college football season for the Colorado Buffaloes has two outcomes. It's either a horrible season and Deion Sanders comes back next year, they tarnish his reputation, they tell you he can't coach, and they say that he's the worst thing ever, or Deion Sanders has a great year coaching the Colorado Buffaloes, and this is also his last year coaching the Colorado Buffaloes. If Deion Sanders has success with Colorado this year, he's not sticking around and staying. He's going to take the next leap and he's going to go to Florida State where he played, and he's going to go back to his alma mater and do what he likes to do best. He's going to take a program from zero and turn them into a hero. The only difference is that Florida State is a historically good program, and once Coach Prime gets them back up on their feet, they're going to be able to turn around in no time. The best players in the country do want to come to Florida State. And the difference is Coach Prime can recruit at Colorado. Coach Prime can recruit the absolute creme de la creme if he's at Florida State. He can get the number one players in the entire country because they have the resources, they have the funds, they have the environment and the stadium that kids want to play in. So Deion Sanders having a good year at Colorado isn't something to celebrate if you're a Colorado fan because it'll be your last year being relevant in college football. I'm sure that Will Campbell is a nice kid, but I absolutely hate the fact that he talks like he's the Terminator. He's an incoming NFL rookie with short arms. This kid's a literal T Rex trying to play left tackle in the NFL. And every time they put a mic in front of his face, he's talking about, oh, I protect my quarterback and the D linemen are afraid of me and I play hard. We don't need to hear all that. We really don't need to hear all that. What I want to see, Will Campbell, I want to see you go to practice and I want to see you actually handle your assignment. I want to see you stop getting embarrassed in training camp. I want to see Will Campbell be worthy of being a first round draft pick. I'm tired of hearing you talk about how good you are, son. You have short arms. Until you can prove that you're nothing, until you can prove that you're actually more productive than a short arm offensive lineman, we don't want to listen to you. Will Campbell having short arms makes it impossible for him to succeed in the NFL because everybody else that he's playing against is a 6'6 long, lengthy defensive end, and they're able to put their arm in the center of his chest and he can't touch them back. With that being said, these guys are going to be driving him back into the quarterback, and Will Campbell's not going to be able to touch them. He can't reach them. That's why offensive linemen are tall and bigger usually. It's because they have longer arms. If offensive linemen could be short, as long as their arms are long, they can play any position in the world. But a tall offensive lineman with short arms is almost a nightmare. You're slower, you're easier to get around, and you can't touch anybody. Will Campbell is a sitting duck, and he makes his quarterback a sitting duck, no matter how tough his talk is. The entire University of Michigan is in the hands of an 18-year-old kid named Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood is a five-star high school quarterback, but we have seen the five-star moniker fail time and time and time again. All that five stars means nowadays is hey, this kid has the frame to where if his body develops, he puts on muscle, and he continues to grow at this pace, he could be really good. Being a five-star high school football player does not mean, hey, this kid can go to college next year and start and play against 23, 24, and 25-year-old grown men. That's not what that means. Bryce Underwood is being thrown into a situation that is honestly negligent by Michigan to put him in. He's going to be 19 years old playing against 25-year-old grown men who, when they were in high school, they were also five-star athletes. Bryce Underwood isn't the only five-star athlete on the field, so expecting him to have success is setting him up for failure. Also, putting him on the field is setting him up for injury. Bryce Underwood has absolutely no opportunity to succeed for the University of Michigan this year, especially not with the schedule that they have. Sharon Moore is going to get fired after this year for Michigan. The fact that he's going into this college football season and he's starting an 18-year-old kid shows negligence. All that shows is that he can't recruit and he wasn't ready for this year in college football. He doesn't have anybody to compete against him except a kid that they put on the field last year, and he showed that he should have been a walk-on. Michigan's quarterback room is the worst quarterback room in the entire country, and there's nobody to blame for it except Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore is a quarterback who just backfilled John Harbaugh, and he's going through this icky situation while Michigan's getting penalized. As soon as Michigan's out of this phase of being outcast from the college football league, they're going to get rid of Sharon Moore and they're going to hire somebody else in his position who they actually want to coach there. Sharon Moore is the scapegoat for the University of Michigan. He's standing in front of the bullets and everything that John Harbaugh didn't want to take when he went to the NFL. The boosters are going to be the ones who run Sharon Moore out of town. Dave Portnoy and other billionaires are getting together to fund Michigan's quarterback room and make sure that they have guys who are capable of playing. Sharon Moore doesn't have guys in his locker room who are capable of playing the quarterback position at a college level. So, how much money do you think that these donors are going to donate year after year after year and watch this guy throw it down the drain and not put a quarterback in seat who can play ball? It's the transfer portal era. There's no reason that Michigan doesn't have a veteran, older quarterback with college experience who wants to play for their team. There was plenty of them available in the transfer portal. Playing Bryce Underwood as your starting quarterback, knowing that he's 18 years old, is negligence.